couple of the highlights from the November financials. We should be at 16%. We are at exactly 17% in our financials for November, but I did want to point out some of the highlights since we didn't have a chance to go over it in our finance meeting. But comparing actually fiscal year 22 to fiscal year 21, we start off so much better than we did last year, I guess because of COVID. But our half-cent sales tax is up by 16%. Our general fund revenues and expenditures are up compared to last year, November. Our special revenues, which includes access, CMP, and local revenues as far as operations, all of that is up. And we haven't seen that in a while. CARES funding is stabilized. Most of the information was in 21, and that's why it's actually stabilized. We're not receiving any more CARES money this year. So state revenue is up 17%, federal is up 40%, and our local is up 17%.
Excellent.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the financial and bank reconciliation statements as presented by Ms. Williams.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of the November 2021 financial and bank reconciliation statements. May I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Cummings and a second by Ms. Lessman. Any discussion, board? Revenue sounds strong. We appreciate you obviously staying on that for us, and we apologize for striking the finance committee meeting this evening to allow most of the staff to go home. And we appreciate you staying here with us in case there were any questions.
Okay, not a problem.
Nothing further. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Reconciliation and bank statements pass. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the middle and high school rezoning plan for Madison City Schools, which includes a minor change in assignment for the high school, Coach Lamp Drive and Shiloh Run from James Clemens to Bob Jones, and then the reformation of the middle school zone that encompasses Journey into that.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of both the middle and high school rezoning plans that have been out in the public for over a year.
The high school one's been out there probably
Since
3 years.
2019.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
Discussion, board?
I would like the board to know that we have not had any argument from the Department of Justice on our plan. We've received approval from them, LDR, and also no comment back from our judge with any problems. So we have that documentation from our attorney.
Yes.
That's a big deal, not getting any opposition in that
Yes, sir.
from the judge, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the plaintiffs. The plaintiffs have always responded favorably to all of our rezonings.
And just to clarify, nothing changed from what's been out on the
No,
internet.
what we had the public
Yeah.
hearing meeting
Right.
on, and we haven't changed anything from that.
Correct, okay.
Good point, good point. Anything else? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Rezoning passes. Dr. Nichols, personnel actions.
Mr. President, members of the board, recommend for approval the supplemental contracts for work to be performed by Madison City Schools.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of supplemental contracts for work to be performed by MCS. Can these be taken as a group? With the group being fine, can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Cummings, second by Ms. Lessman. Any discussion?
Mr. President, most of these are work for gate workers. There are a couple of temporary positions there until the board approves the personnel agenda for folks who are starting positions with us right after the break, and then some EL K through 5 summer camp workers that we will employ in the second half of the school year in June. So we'll go ahead and get those contracts ready now.
Anything, board? We do appreciate the more aggressive action on the contracts and having those before the board as soon as possible and prior to those employments. Nothing further, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Supplemental contracts pass. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the list of substitutes for Madison City Schools.
Board, the superintendent recommends the approval of the list of substitutes for MCS. Can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cummings and a second by Ms. Lessman. Comments?
We need all that we can.
We do, and this is in addition to those that are already
We're
on the substitute
about
list.
300 now, so.
With nothing further, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Dr. Nichols.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for your approval of the personnel actions as listed before you.
Board, the superintendent recommends the list of personnel actions that you have before you. Can these be taken as a group? Seeing that a group's fine, can I have a motion and a second?
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Cummings, a second by Ms. Lessman. Any discussion? No discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Personnel actions pass. Dr. Nichols, are there recognitions you'd like to make out of the personnel actions?
Yes, sir. Mr. President, I'd like to recognize two individuals on the agenda for retirement. First, Mr. Randall Blair, a math teacher at the Academy, has been with us for 8 years, came to us from Lincoln County, Tennessee. Mr. Blair has always done an outstanding job working with our kids in the Academy, and a smile on his face, and will do anything to help fix kids' cars in the parking lot or whatever it takes. And he'll be missed there. And then Marty Tatara is retiring as the director of our CMP, Supervisor of Child Nutrition. She has been with Madison City since we've been a school district. In 2019, she was awarded the School Nutrition Association Director Award. Melinda Long, Bob Jones says that for 25 years she's had the pleasure of working with Marty. She's a wonderful supervisor and co-worker. And Cameron Clark, who works side by side with her every day, says he couldn't ask for a better mentor to work with her. Marty and Jim are planning to move to Auburn. Jim is one of those folks that's job changed during COVID and is virtual now, and so their grandkids are down there, and they're going to move to Auburn and live in Lee County on some land, and looking forward to being near their grandkids. So we wish them all the best as they move forward into this new adventure.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. I did have a note here. To refresh the personnel items, did you do that? We're good? And so that includes the recommendation from Ms. Bolden?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, we had a contract on there, didn't we? I didn't see
Yes.
that on my thing. That wasn't on there. But we got it. It was in the
It's in the
personnel
packet.
agenda? Okay. We've got it.
Okay. All right, as long as that's taken care of. I have nothing further. We'll move into superintendent comments.
First of all, thank you, Officer Jewell and Officer Cocker, for being here. Officer Cocker did not ride his new three-wheel bike here, but we appreciate him driving his car in the cold. It was a little cold, wasn't it? And again, I, like all of you, appreciate Dr. Donaldson and Ms. Powell and all our staff at the secondary school, assistant principals that have worked to create the curriculum guide. I certainly appreciate them for that work. And we're as soon as we finish this meeting, we'll be surveying parking lots and bridges and roads to make a decision on school tomorrow, talking with area superintendents. One of the things that we will update parents on tonight is, as most of you are aware, the CDC gave some new guidance on COVID quarantining. I'm not sure that the ADPH and the State Department of Education was really understanding and ready for that, so it took a couple of days till they all got on the same page. But now they're kind of all on the same page. So instead of that 14-day now, if someone's positive, they are symptom-free after 5 days, fever-free. They can return after 5 days with a mask on. If they've been vaccinated and they're a close contact, They can return immediately with a mask on for 10 days. It's encouraged that they get a test after 5 days. If they haven't, then they have a 5-day isolation period, and then they can return with their mask on. And again, they're encouraged to get tested on the 5th day. And so we'll be sending that information out in our update on weather tonight to parents. And then anyone that's currently under quarantine because of that, our nurses will reach out to them starting tomorrow and make sure they know that the times have been changed on those quarantines so we can get them back to school earlier according to the new guidance that we've gotten from the CDC, the ADPH, and the State Department.
All right.
Which did take them a few days to put that together.
Yes.
So,
Yes, there was, in the media, there was quite some banter between, between whether they were going to change those rules or not.
you know, speaking of subs, last thing is, you know, currently we have probably close to 5% of our staff and faculty that are out, either positive or close contact. That number gets much higher, or it's 5% or higher in certain places. It could cause us a problem such as transportation. If we lost a few more people in transportation or child nutrition, we could have an issue at a school. So we're just going to have to watch. There are some school districts around the state, Mountain Brook and some others, who started virtually. Some are looking at having to go to it based at the school level or a grade level or something like that. Hopefully we will see a decline in this number and we'll not have that issue. But right now we've got several schools that have 7 to 8 staff members out, and we have those subs on the list. That sounds like a lot. But those folks don't just sub for Madison City Schools. They sub in Madison County and Huntsville. And so the pool of those candidates as well is challenging at times. I appreciate Dr. Ja and her staff. We had a couple of places this week with 7 or 8 folks out that we had to really, they got on the phone and really worked hard to get staff covered. So just, we're not there yet, but hopefully this will see a decline and we won't have as many folks affected in the next few weeks and won't have any impact on that. But, you know, you lose 4 or 5 drivers, I can't just get one of you to drive for them. You might fill in a class. I can even put you in child nutrition and probably get you going pretty good. I wouldn't let you cook, but I can put you in there. But I can't hand you a bus. And so, you know, that's we're trying to keep our folks separated and healthy as much as possible during this time.
Can I ask if, you know, if it's an issue with only, say, the transportation, are you looking at possibly having a in-school and virtual options in case there's no transportation, so those that can make it to school, because we all know in-person learning is probably
Right.
best.
The last thing we want to do is not continue in person. We want
Right.
to keep pushing forward and having everybody in school. It may be a more than that, maybe a shift in time, so that buses that have routes, we can reroute and do something like that. So,
Okay.
you know, that'd be our first avenue to look at. We have had some entire classes this year and last year that we had to isolate a whole class for a few days. So we try not to do the whole school, try not to do a whole grade level if we can. It's just according to what staffing is like in those areas and if we can find folks to be there.
So it sounds like you've given the heads up to the teachers and staff, and we're all, like, if we need to go virtual or whatever, they're going to do it, and you're giving the heads up to the parents now
It'd be
to
the
make
last
plans
thing-
if
It's the
needed.
last thing we want to do.
You're right, but we want to have that
But
plan B.
I'm not saying it's not a
Exactly.
potential if we keep seeing this increase of staff being affected.
Right.
But now I'll say at the same time, our staff at the school, we have pulled people from libraries and reading coaches and instructional partners.
Central office?
We've pulled central office staff, so we're holding on to those folks in some places because if we need to send somebody, we'll. But a couple of times last year, we sent everybody in the central office out to help sub too. So we
So
haven't
that's
got
just
there
the
yet.
absolute, yeah, absolute
We'll
worst
resort to
case.
every one of those opportunities before we try to do anything else
Okay.
that takes away from in-person.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. Anything else?
No, sir.
Ms. Lessman?
just Happy New Year, everyone. We're ready for a great new year. And thank you to Dr. Donaldson and her team with the new, updating the curriculum. I did want to, we will be doing Journey registration starting this month sometime too, right? Correct, Dr. Nicholson?
As soon as the curriculum guides are finished in 2 weeks, then we'll start the process of signing up for curriculum for school next year and send the curriculum guides out. So hopefully by somewhere 1st of February, we will have everybody that's kind of gotten that done, and we'll have our head counts of those who will be going to the new school and those who are rising 7th and 8th graders who want to go to the new school because there's some there, and those that choose to stay at their home school that they're at now. So.
Okay, and is that just Journey to start?
No,
Those,
we'll do
okay, everybody, okay. Okay. And then we're prepared in case anything happens with the staff, so, okay. Well, thank you all for coming out. I don't have anything else. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Lessman. Mr. Cummings?
I want to say Happy New Year, and I want everyone to take their time and drive home safe and just take care out there.
Thank you, sir. We did, between updates, we had it up here, Miss Bolden's contract, but we need to officially make sure that we get that taken care of, so.
I actually don't have that on mine, so.
It's
You
not
got
right
it.
there, but it's right
All right.
here.
Give me that right there. We'll take care of it. Okay, now I got it.
So we're gonna have one more recommendation. Okay.
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend for approval the contract, probationary principal contract for Ms. Miranda Bolden, who will be the principal at Columbia Elementary School.
Board, the superintendent recommends approval of the probationary principal contract for Ms. Miranda Bolden. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Cummings, a second by Ms. Lessman. Any discussion?
Remind the board, all new principals under Alabama law become probationary principals. They have a 3-year contract, after which, 2-year contract, after which time they can have a full principal contract for 3 years, rotating 3 years. Only folks who have ever held a principal position before can have the extending contract. So Ms. Bolden, like any other first-year new principal, will start with a 2-year probationary contract.
And board, if you recall, we've already approved her for that position, but this is the legal document signing her to her contract. Anything else? All right, call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. And with that, I guess it's to me, and I'll say also Happy New Year. And I know my middle school student was excited to get back to school, and I know that the schools are bustling with activity right now, and we just look forward to a successful spring semester. And spring can't get here soon enough if it's going to be in the teens tomorrow morning. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? We are adjourned.